Hello, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. I had read some amazing books in 2025, and I just wanted to share with you my top 10 favorites of the year. At number 10, I've got The Lost Bookshop. This book was really good. This was a historical fiction book, and I just love books about books, and this was just that. So in this book, essentially what happens is it takes place in 1900s, and we go back in time when some of our favorite classic authors were alive. Our main protagonist, she ends up coming to this household where she works as a maid, sort of a lady in waiting sort of, and then she meets this mysterious man who's searching for the lost bookshop. So he is aware that back in the 1800s there was this amazing bookshop where very famous people used to come, and he was searching for it because it's supposed to be somewhere there, but he can never find it. So our protagonist and this guy, they embark into this kind of quest wherein they're trying to find out with research and materials, and they hit the library and they're trying to figure out where the lost bookshop went. And as they do it, they kind of excerpt out Opaline's story. So Opaline was one of the main characters from the past who actually used to work in the bookshop. So they try to bring the story out from her point of view, and I thought it was brilliant. So the historical fiction is written so good, it keeps jumping timelines, and I actually enjoy that because it's really nice to get a part of history of something that's happened in the same place in the future. So I thought that was very enticing, and I was very invested in all of the characters as well, and there was a lot of emotional settings, and it's just a brilliant book. So if you're just looking for something about bookshops, lost bookshops, sometime in the past with two plots, then definitely pick up this book. At number 9, I've got Christmas at Hogwarts, and I just put this book in on my top 10 because this isn't per se an entire huge story. It's just an excerpt from the first chapter of the Sorcerer's Stone, where Harry and his friends celebrate Christmas at Hogwarts. And the reason why I enjoyed this book so much is because of the illustrations. It's illustration by Z Gao, and I just felt like these illustrations were top notch, and I love myself some illustrated books. So just looking at it gave me so many vibes. I mean, I don't think you even need to read the story. Just looking at the pictures and all the intricacies in the picture is just so beautiful and colorful and big and bright and just perfect for like the winter time. So I actually thought this was a great book. It's, again, this is not a story per se, it's just a small chapter from when Harry celebrates Christmas there for the first time. So don't go into this expecting some new story or new excerpt or anything like that, but it's purely because of the illustrations that I had to give it one of my rankings in the top 10 for last year. So at number 8, I want to recommend The London Bookshop Affair. And you guys, this book is even better than The Lost Bookshop. This book was everything. It was so good. It's again around bookshops. I don't know why I have two books which are revolving around bookstores this year on my top 10, but this one was really good. And again, this has two plot lines. It's a historical fiction. It takes place in 1940s and 1960s, I think, or was it, yeah, it was 1960s and 1940s France. And what I loved about this book is, again, this is like a mystery that is kind of getting resolved over time, but it also has like espionage and spies and things that took place during the Cuban War crisis in France and London. I mean, when we follow this girl, our main protagonist, who comes to work at the bookstore, she meets all these different characters, and she's like just trying to get her feet on the ground, and she's run away from home, and she want to like set something up, and she loves books, and when she comes here and she meets all these people, and then she opens up the past. It's just amazing. I just loved how this book just brought together historical fiction, which is true about the Cuban War crisis, and also a fictional story woven into it like really brilliantly. If I can give you an excerpt, it's just amazing. Okay, this goes. The world is on the brink of war. London 1962. The world is teetering on the brink of nuclear war, but life must go on. Celia longs for a career but no means of qualifications, passes her time working at a dusty bookshop. The day a handsome American enters the shop, she thinks she might have found her way out of the monotony. Just as the excitement of a budding relationship engulfs her, a devastating secret draws her into a murky world of espionage. France, 1942. 19-year-old Anya was dropped behind enemy lines to aid the resistance, sending messages back home to London via a wireless transmitter. When she was cruelly betrayed, evidence of her legacy and the truth of her actions were buried by wartime injustices. Cecilia starts to learn things about Anya and who she is, and somehow finds out how she is related to all of this in the story. So it's a brilliant book. If you're looking for a good book which has all of these elements, secrets, wars, romance, historical fiction, truth, then definitely pick this one up. At number 7, I've got Stars and Smoke, and this is a duology, and I actually finished both the books last year because it was brilliant. But I'm recommending the first book because I enjoyed it so much. It was so breezy. So in this series, basically we follow two characters, Sydney and Winter. And Sydney is a spy in MI5, and Winter is a pop star, like a really, really famous pop star, who goes undercover, and Sydney helps him go undercover to go and extract information from this big time political person trying to kind of arrest him. So the story is just amazing because I just loved Sydney and Winter's interactions, and this felt like I was watching Mission Impossible but with like pop star kind of element added to it. And it's really nice and very, very enticing that the main character, who is Sydney, is female and she's in the MI5, and the pop star is a guy. So generally it's always the other way around. So I liked this point of view, and I thought it was really much fun and very breezy. So if you're looking for something that's like got a spy thriller kind of book, but at the same time it's got some amount of romance to it, hate turn to friends, turn to possibly lovers kind of trope, and it's got like really, really nice plot line as well. So if you really enjoy something like that, do check this one out. At number 6, I'm gonna recommend one of my favorite authors, and I read one of his really good books last year, and that is Super Sleuth by David Walliams. So in this book, we follow a little girl who goes on board a luxury ship with her pet dog Watson, and they uncover a murder mystery. It's a whodunit, but it's like from a little girl's point of view, and I just enjoyed this book so much. I kind of feel like some of the recent David Walliams books have not been all that amazing like they used to be, but this one really brought his old style back, and I really enjoyed this book. There is a few missing elements, like my favorite character Raj was not in the book, but otherwise I think the storyline, the characters, and Watson was just so cute and amazing, and even the small girl detective was so sweet. I just enjoyed this book so much. It is so much fun and it's very sweet as well. So definitely recommend this as a middle grade book. At number 5, I've got my favorite classic, Anne of Green Gables, and I put it in my top 10 this year because I read it only last year. I've enjoyed this book so many times, but I haven't done a read for a really, really long time. So when I read it last year, I kind of fell in love with it all over again. I love Anne of Green Gables. Basically, this is a story about a little girl who is an orphan, and she ends up going to live in King Edward Island with a brother and sister duo, and they've been expecting a boy from the orphanage to help her on the farm. But then when she ends up going, they initially say that they're looking for a boy and they try to send her back, but then somehow she wins them over, and she then stays over and they adopt her, and she lives her life in Green Gables. And this is an amazing book. It's one classic that will never die. I just love the setting, the ambience, some of the dialogues that Anne speaks in the book are also amazing. Storyline is amazing. This is an entire series. There are 7 books in the series, and this is the first one. So if you're looking for a classic to read next year, which is not too heavy on yourself and not so much investing, then I would definitely recommend this one. At number 4, I've got another one from my favorite authors, and this is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. And this book was super creepy and twisty and psychological. So if you're looking for something like a psychological thriller with creepy elements to it, then definitely recommend this one. This story is about a girl who ends up going and working as a caretaker for a lady who has been disabled, and she's on a wheelchair, but she's super duper rich and she lives alone in a mansion on top of a hill. But there is a background story about her that she apparently killed all of her family members, but there was no way, that there was no evidence for anybody to prove it, so she was never jailed, but she lives in that house alone. So the previous caretaker apparently just disappeared, so they asked if our female protagonist could go and live with her and take care of her. And so because she has no other means of money, she actually accepts the offer and she goes ahead and lives there. And then she starts uncovering all of these creepy secrets. Oh my god, the twists and turns in this one will mess with your mind. I really enjoyed this book, and some places I kind of expected the twists and turns, but in some places I did not. And even the places where I did expect it, it still kind of turned out to be very interesting and twisty, and I think that's a specialty with all of Riley Sager books. So if you're looking for a good horror slash creepy psychological thriller, then I definitely recommend this one. So at number 3, I've got The Switch by Anthony Horowitz, and this is like a first time author read for me. I've not read other Anthony Horowitz books before, at least not that I could recollect, and this one was really good. It's a proper middle grade book, but it was like Freaky Friday, so we followed Tad and Bob, and they kind of switch bodies, and one of them is super rich and one of them is dingy poor. So they kind of switch bodies and they end up living each other's lives and then realizing the value of their own lives. So I kind of enjoyed that take. It's got a very morally element to it, and I felt like this was like a David Walliams book, and so I enjoyed it even more. I love when these like middle grade books have a nice moral towards the end. So this was also a really good read for me. At number 2, I've got Watch Me, which is the new installment from the Shatter Me series. So if you watch my channel before, you know that I love the Shatter Me series. I enjoyed it so much. I liked all of the characters, and when we decided that we are ready to go back into the Republic, I was so happy. So this book came out last year and I immediately read it and I was not disappointed at all. I think the new book is coming out this year and I'm already excited to get it. I'm going to pre-order it as soon as I can. In this one, we follow James and his story, and we go back to the Republic, and then we see that our older characters like Aaron all have like grown up, and then we meet a new character called Rosabelle. So I don't know, this whole story, it didn't feel like I had even left the Republic. It felt like I was back there, and it was so good. And it was not like, why did she have to write another installment when the whole series is over? It wasn't like that at all. It was so much fun. I enjoyed this book so much. So if you've read the Shatter Me series and if you're wondering if Watch Me is a good pickup, definitely it is. I highly recommend reading it. And the last book, at number 1, I'm recommending a book I had no idea would become my favorite, and I probably read this over and over every year, and that is The Pumpkin Princess and the Forever Knight. So I just read this as a whimsy because it had a very Halloweeny tinge to it, so I wanted something super Halloweeny to read during October, and so I picked it up. And oh my gosh, you guys, I had so much fun with it, and it was so good. I just loved the found family trope, and it was so beautiful. All of the characters we meet were brilliant, and the ambience, the atmosphere that the author had created for the October season was just mind blowing. I mean, how did he create such an authentic atmosphere? I don't know. So we've got pumpkins, we've got like a proper harvest festival, we've got pumpkin mazes, we've got vampires, we've got witches, we've got everything you can possibly think of. and we've got an amazing plot line as well. So this story was kind of character driven, but at the same time it had like a heavy plot, and that's kind of rare in so many books, because either you're character driven or you're plot driven, but this one was a kind of bit of both, and I enjoyed it so much. If you're looking for something that's got a Halloweeny element to it, emotional elements to it, it's such an emotional ride as well, but an amazing atmosphere around the this world that she gets into, then definitely pick up this book. Just to tell you what it's about, so we follow the life of this girl who's basically an orphan, and she kind of stumbles into this world and falls over, and she meets the Pumpkin King. And the Pumpkin King kinds of live in this whole different dimension, or this whole different world, or it's not on Earth per se. And he sees her and he wants to adopt her as his daughter, as the pumpkin princess. So at first she's kind of like reluctant and hesitant, but she has nowhere to go, she has nowhere to go back to, she doesn't have a family, and she hates her orphanage, which is why she ran away in the first place. So she kind of slowly starts adapting to this new role that she's been given, and then she starts making friends, and then she starts this whole kind of world that doesn't exist, and then she kind of brings it all and unites the whole world together. And I really enjoyed that part of it. Realizes who she is just amazing. It's kind of like a middle grade book, but I would recommend this for like even young adults and adults, because it was just amazing. One of the best middle grade books that I've read so far. And I think book 2 is also out there, and I have it already on my Kobo, and I'm going to pick it up this year, so I'm super excited about that as well. So there you go, that were my top 10 books of 2025. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in another video. Bye.